I've just woken up. It is Thursday. It's Wednesday, the 23rd of October. Nine o'clock. And I am officially, well, today, 1, 2, 3, 4 days out of the next show in Wigan. And they've just released the show day running order for Wigan, and I'm on at 9 o'clock in the morning, which is fine for me because I'm staying in Wigan the night before. But that just means that my family, because we're based in Somerset, are going to have to wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to drive to Wigan to watch me in my pants on stage, which is not ideal, but they're going to do it anyway. This is what bodybuilding is, especially being in this area. You have to travel so far to get to these shows. There's no shows that are around here, especially not the natural ones. There's just nothing nearby. But we're going to do it, and today I'm going to take you through what I do at 4 days out. So first of all, weigh and check in. First things first, we're going to weigh. Always put this in the same position on the floor, because then you know that the floor is level, the scales are exactly in the same place. Always use a hard floor. So let's jump on. I'm just going to do it twice as well, just to get a proper accurate reading. Interesting. Very interesting, because my lightest weigh-in so far throughout the whole prep has been 77.1, and this morning I am 77. So I've been in peak week now, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I've had more food basically, and I've dropped weight. So it obviously proves that my body has needed it. So it just means I'm going to be super, super lean for Saturday, which is nice, which was the goal. We wanted to come in a little bit leaner for this one. I think that's where I probably lost out on the first show. By the way, my hair, I never have my hair like this. This is because I wear a sleep mask, and I must have obviously pulled it up overnight. And this thing on my nose, I will do a different video to explain what that is. It looks kind of funny, but it's really cool. It does help me actually. Sweet, now we need to get some check-in photos for my coach. So I'm going to bring them with me as well. So check-ins I'm going to do outside as my camera rolls around. It is fucking cold, and it is a little bit damp out here, but it's fine. So when you're taking your check-in photos for your coach, make sure as best as you can that you do it in the same position every single time, and you kind of ideally want it to be like front-facing natural lighting. So if you've got like a windowsill in your house, lean your phone against that. Make sure it's the same height every time. And yeah, always in the same position, because then it's easiest to notice if there's any changes in your physique. You'll see what I have to set up now, because I don't have a tripod, and you'll just see the process of me doing my poses, doing my check-in for my coach. So yeah, let's do it. You're also going to see my dog like running around all the time. He gets right in the way of my check-ins, which is quite funny. Always gets in. He gets his weekly check-in as well. Make sure he's nice and healthy and shredded to the bone. So, as you can see, this is the setup that I use. It is a very, very highly engineered system. Very zoomed in. So I'm just going to stand by that brick wall there. So now that's done, all I need to do is just flick through the video, screenshot the each one of the poses and send them over to my coach, Aaron, and then wait to see what he says about what food I'm allowed to eat for today. So all I do, screenshot that, and then swipe over to the next pose, screenshot that, repeat that for every pose, send it over to him. So I've just sort of tried to semi-sort my hair out, as you can see, because I couldn't be carrying on with that. Aaron is happy, and he's given me my little check-in notes for the day, which basically means I am now on for today. It is 3,500 calories. Wow, which is nice. So, the reason why in peak week that you eat more food, obviously you've been depleting for so long trying to get all of your body fat stores like taken off. But if you were to go on stage and have like no glycogen stored in your muscle belly, no triglycerides stored in the muscle belly as well, then you'll just look what we call flat. So that storage of energy from food in your muscle belly is what gives it a little bit of size. So you'll notice that after you've been ill, you might feel like, if you've been ill and not eating, you might feel that then you're like smaller than normal. You're not actually smaller, you're just holding your energy stores a little bit differently. So I'm gonna get to making my meals for the day and take you through a little bit of what I'm eating. But first, obviously, you already know, getting the coffee in. First thing every single day is a black coffee, because it's just rude not to. So one thing that I do is, once I've been given my meal plan from Aaron, I'll literally just write it down. So even though I've got obviously the sheets he's given me the meal plan on, I'll write it down and I'll just tick it as I go, just to make sure that, you know, bit by bit, whatever I'm prepping, then I've made sure that I haven't forgot to do it. So once I know that it's ticked, then it's already been prepped. So I'm now just prepping my rice for the rest of the day, my chicken for the rest of the day as well, just because it's going to save me a little bit of time later on today. But the rest of it I can do as I go. So if I was to prep it all at different times, then I need to know that I've prepped that one thing. So like with the 7 grams of oil that I've got in my rice meal, like I might forget later on if I've already put it in there or not, unless I've ticked it on there, and in which case like 7 grams of olive oil, if you add that in twice, obviously you're doubling that amount, so it's quite a lot of fat, so you don't really want to be messing around too much with that. So tick it as you go. That's how I like to do it. I like to write it down. I've been doing it throughout the whole of prep, and I found it really, really helpful for me. And it just means that I'm left with like loads of these little random like full day of eating things. Yeah. First meal is done. I have 2 eggs, 180 grams of sourdough, and 40 grams of jam. Buzzing. And 2 grams of salt. 2 grams of salt per every meal. And then on the pre-workout meal, I'm going to have 3 grams of salt. So, I've showered and changed. First meal's gone in. I'm now just prepping my chicken for the next 2 meals. So I've got 100 grams over the next 2 meals, and that is cooked chicken. So as always, chicken is pretty much the only thing that you weigh once it's cooked. I said before, obviously different companies put different amounts of water in there when it's raw just to fill it out. So you only really get like the true weight of the actual like protein amount once it's been cooked. The thing with this is just make sure you're cooking it the same way every time. So I always grill mine. There it is. So make sure you're doing it the same way every time. If you want to pan fry it, obviously go for it, pan fry it, or air fryer. That's a really good one to use as well, because obviously you don't need any like oils and that sort of thing in there. I grill mine just because it's easy. I can stick loads in there all at once, batch cook a load of it, and then split it out, portion it out over my meals. Also, today I've got 7 of these to drink. This is a 1 litre bottle, 7 to 7.5 litres of water, just to help with digestion, keep me nice and hydrated, keep me full throughout the day. The thing is, when you're eating more calories, say like in a peak week, with the amount of carbs that you're having, you have like a spike in insulin, so blood sugar, and that spike in blood sugar will then cause you to have a drop in blood sugar as well. So when your blood sugar spikes, you also have a release of something called ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone. So even though you might have just eaten like a big carby portion, you're then going to start secreting this ghrelin, the hunger hormone, into your system, which is then going to make you feel like hungrier. So even though I'm eating like over double what I would normally eat today, I'm going to find that I'm really struggling with hunger. So what I'm going to do to combat that, I'm just going to make sure that I'm going out for some like steps after each meal. So change your scenery after every time you eat. If you're, you know, prone to snacking or going back for seconds, things, if you've had a big portion, like a high carb portion, you might think, oh God, like I can't move for a minute, I just need to sit down for a bit. But then the likelihood of you then going back to the cupboard, going back for another portion once that's like settled on your stomach is quite high. So the best thing to do, give it a couple of minutes, just let it sit, and remove yourself from that environment. So going out for a little walk, or starting like your household tasks for the day, or if you can do something else to get you away from the kitchen, away from that food environment, that'd be really good in terms of like controlling your like eating habits. So that's what I'm going to do today. So second meal is done. I have got my chicken, asparagus and rice in there, with obviously my 2 grams of salt. That's the rest of the chicken for later. And then of course the second black coffee of the day. Black coffee, by the way, is not in my water allowance. So if I'm having black coffee, I'm having it as extra on top of the 7.5 litres that I'm having today. So I've also put some hot sauce on there. Hot sauce is really good because it's super low calorie. I have that on every single meal, which is like a savoury meal. Obviously I'm not having it in my oats or anything like that. But I'm going to eat this now. The time is 11:30. So trying to space my meals out evenly before I train later on. So every 2 or 3 hours, as best as I can. So yeah, let's scran it. So my number 3 is a little bit weird. So on my meal plan, on this one, I've got dark chocolate in it. And I like to add it into the rice. whereas I think you're really supposed to have it like separately, but it doesn't matter. I just tried it the first time, really liked it when it's like melted in with the rice. It goes really, really nicely. So this is what it is. This is how it looks. You've got, 100 grams cooked weight rice, cooked weight chicken, 100 grams dry weight rice. Got 100 grams of pineapple, and we've got the dark chocolate in there, all melted in as well, with my asparagus. Of course, I've got my salt and my red hot sauce as well. So that's my number 3. I'm gonna have that now. I'm on my 3rd litre of water already for today, and it is 12:30. So I'm doing well for water. Also, I drink mostly when I'm training anyway, so I'll get a lot of that in later on today. And I've just prepped my cream of rice meal, which I'll show you when I get around to eating that in a minute. Also watching Bamstead. Just for some motivation, ready for the weekend. Let's go. So the time has come, 3 meals in, off for a little walk now, and it's purely to help with digestion. So as I said before, once you've had a meal, if you're just sitting around, that food is just going to sit quite heavy on your stomach. So a good idea after you've had a meal is just to get out, get moving a little bit. Just because as you can imagine, every step that you take, that food sort of shifts around in your digestive system a little bit more, helping it to break down, helping you to then digest it. I'm training today at about 6:30, so I'm going to try and get most of my carbohydrates in before then. And also, it's not just about getting it in, it's about making sure it's digested fully as well. So I don't want too much food sitting heavy on me when I'm training, because then obviously my body is going to be focusing on digesting that food as opposed to then pumping the nutrients, the carbohydrates from that food around my body. So yeah, going to take the dog out just for a little walk. It's going to be about 20 minutes just to get things moving around, and then I'll come back. Just a quick side note, I've got layers and layers on because I mean it's October and I've not got a lot of body fat. So I get really cold really easily, so I have to layer up wherever I go. When I'm at work, I've got an extra hoodie on, got a vest on underneath, that sort of thing. So it does get, especially now the weather's dropped a little bit as well, it can be quite rough. So I'm glad I've got loads of layers. We're out on the walk. It feels really fucking weird because vlogging in Taunton, I think, is probably a crime in these parts. You don't really see anyone doing it. It's not like we're in London or one of these cities where you've just got influencers in the wild everywhere. So it feels really fucking weird, and hence why I'm doing it when there's nobody else around, because I've got to get used to it somehow. But we are here with the dog. He's all the way over there. Hold on. Can we zoom in? There he is. I can't keep him on the lead because he just does this. He just does what he wants. Whoa. Does what he wants all the time. So I'll call him in a minute and he'll come running back down to me. But yeah, out on the walk now. Only going to be like 20-ish minutes. The idea with peak week is that the whole idea is that you wash off any sort of fatigue of your body that you've got. So doing excess steps, like at this stage, it's not about dropping body fat. All of the body fat that we wanted to come off has come off. And now it's just about freshening my body up, ready to go into the show. And what you don't want is to be holding any inflammation, especially around your legs. So when you're doing a lot of steps, you might find that, especially as you get leaner, like your body is so tired and so fatigued that it holds on to a lot of water. Here he is. There's the dog. There he is. And that's what you don't want. So this week is just about now freshening up, not going too hard at all, relaxing. So I had a big old sleep last night. I slept for like 9.5 hours, which was much needed. And I woke up lighter today because I slept for more last night. So obviously my body needed it. But yeah, operation, chill out, rest up. Got some PT sessions later on in the gym, and I got my training session later. So So, just got to Morrison's. Gonna walk into town and get a black coffee, another one, the third one of the day. So, I've got a super busy schedule for the next couple of weeks because after finals, so I've got a show this Saturday, so 4 days out of this show, and then I've got a week until the next show, so it's the following Saturday. And then from then, so that's the 2nd of November, and then on the 4th of November I'm heading up to London, because the next day I'm flying up to Vietnam for 2 weeks. So I've got loads of shit to sort out basically. So I'm in town now just to get a coffee, do some steps, and pick up some of the bits that I need for then basically. So I started packing today just because I don't want to have to worry about packing, you know, after finals, because then it's just going to be a mad rush because I've only really got 1 full day then to pack. So I'm going to try and do as much of it as I can now, just to make sure that I'm ahead of the game, because that is the only thing that's really stressing me out at the moment. So I'm going to make sure I get that in now, so I don't have to worry about it, especially leading up to the final peak week for finals. So yeah, that's the agenda. And it's a lovely sunny day, so I've come out with just a jumper on rather than a jumper and a fleece, because my walk, I was a bit hot to tell you the truth. So yeah. Sweet. Walk done. Coffee enjoyed thoroughly. I'm getting a bit bored of the black coffees though. It's a lie. I can never get bored of coffee, but it'd be really nice. The one thing I've missed the most on this prep is oat milk, lattes, flat whites. So wait till Saturday to have one of them. That would be my normal go-to. So just got to the gym, got 3 hours of PT now, and I'm going to train after. So it's just a upper pump session with like a pull focus, so like back, buys, rear delts. So when you're doing like pump sessions in peak week, the goal is not to like break muscle down. As I said earlier on, it's just a case of like trying to get some blood into the muscle. All these carbs that I've been eating today, trying to shift them into the muscle belly, make sure they're not just like sitting on me. So still being active, but nothing too much so that it's going to cause any damage to my muscles. Pretty much all my steps are done for the day. I think I'm on like 7,000. So by the time I finish PT, they'll be all done. And then it's just a case of going home, chilling out, sleeping, catching up on some sleep. And that's it really. I've still got like 4 litres to drink, so we're going to get down the first one now before my first PT session comes in. And yeah, it's been a good day. I'll show you my little haul that I got from TK Maxx at some point, I'm sure. My little Vietnam haul. I got a phone case because I have been known before to ruin phones. Got like a little head pillow, some socks, some pants, just the usual stuff. So all of that's done. One step closer. Christ, need to practice that. One step closer to Vietnam, one step closer to show day. 4 days out. The hard work is done. Time to just coast in. Let's go. Somewhat abruptly, you join me in the posing room at work. So I've done my pump up session. It's really weird training, doing just pump up, because naturally, being like a coach, being a PT myself, like I'm always trying to teach people the correct way to train, and I'll tell you for free that the correct way to train is not by doing pump up sessions. So movements are a lot faster. You focus on the squeeze a lot more than like the stretch. So you're not trying to break the muscle down, as I said to you before. It's just all about, you know, trying to pump as much blood into the muscle as possible, and to do that, it's just short, sharp, fast contractions. So it took me about 45 minutes in total to go through a list of exercises that are ever so slightly different to stuff that I would have done before. And now, just to get some post-workout shots, to see how my body's responded today to the amount of food that I've had, and also just to show Aaron what I look like with some carbs in me as well. And then from tonight's information, and then seeing how I look in the morning, then he'll be able to tell me how much food I'm going to eat tomorrow, which I think might be a fair amount, hopefully. because today I weighed in obviously the lightest that I have done in the last like 2 years. Even the first time that I competed, I wasn't this light. So I'm half a kilo down on my first ever bodybuilding show day weight, which is nuts to think. So in 2 years' time, I am lighter and I have more muscle, which is a good sign. It just goes to show any of you guys that are focusing on scale weight, it's not the be all and end all. So from judging on the stage comparison photos that I've already seen of myself, I know that I've built a fair bit of muscle, but I still weigh lighter than what I did 2 years ago. So there's one way to look at it, and you might think, you know, I've wasted the last couple of years, but at the same time, I look better this year, which was the whole purpose of me competing this year, just to show that I can improve my physique. So get some photos here, and then home for the final meal. It's like vlogception, by the way, vlogging a vlog. Also, don't judge the socks I've got on. I completely forgot I was going to be out in my socks today. Don't think about it. That feeling when you haven't even pressed record. Okay, posing session done. It's interesting because like you find that, you know, even just from posing, you get a pump just from squeezing the muscles. So obviously your body's been so depleted for so long, and then when you chuck a load of carbs in and then you start just tensing your muscles, like you can feel such a difference in how your blood flow moves and like how hydrated you are. And I think that's the main thing with like being on prep, is that you learn so much about yourself, not only like mentally in terms of like what you can take, what you're capable of, like what you're able to push yourself through, but actually like physically as well. Like you learn so much by doing. And the thing is, from my point of view, you've got coaches out there that are gonna talk the talk and, you know, chat shit basically, and they might learn shit from different people. But I'm so glad that I got into competing like 2 years ago when I did, because that instantly showed me, you know, that I've got what it takes to lose body fat, therefore I can teach people how to do it. And then also, like, it hardens you. All that shit that you don't want to do, all those steps you don't want to do, all the training sessions that you're not bothered, you can't be asked to do them. The food that you want to binge on, the food that, you know, you want to like stay away from, like having that like mental like desire to sort of stick to the plan. It teaches you so much, and then it allows me to then get across to my clients, you know, the benefit of sticking to a plan. And it's always a long-term goal. I've been training now for 7 years, not all of which have been like proper bodybuilding. I'd say I've probably been bodybuilding properly for like 4 or 5 years. And it's a long game. Like, it's taken me 2 years to see a difference from the time I competed before. It's taken me getting on stage to be able to see a difference in my physique, because mentally you don't see the difference the same as what other people do. So it is a long game. But all I can say is I'm so glad now that I haven't like backed out of doing this journey that I'm on, because there's so many times that I've been around before and like, oh, I can't be arsed. Is it even for me? Like, I'm not seeing any progress. But you're not going to see your progress all the time. Like, it's going to be like slow and steady, and sometimes you're not even going to progress for like weeks at a time, in which case then you change it. But just stick to it, get better at everything that you can, like day by day, do more steps every day, you know, be a bit cleaner with your food every single day, just little bits every single day, and you just develop these habits that you can then take on to the rest of your life with you. I'm so much more productive when I'm on prep, because I know I've got this thing in like 6 weeks time that I'm like being on stage, I've got to be prepared for, but I can't let the rest of my life sort of like hang about. I've got to do all that sort of shit as well. So it makes you it funnels everything. It's very tunnel vision, and yeah, you have to sacrifice like time with loved ones, family, like you can't go out and see your mates quite as much. But if you've got the right mates, your mates are going to understand. It's as simple as that. Like, your mate's going to back you. Sometimes the support that you need from your mates is for them not to say anything at all. Like, you know, not give you shit if you're not going out. If you need to leave like an event early, they just say, yeah, sound, like, go for it, I understand. That's all it is. So surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with the people that are in your corner. Sounds corny as fuck, but, you know, find the right people around you, motivate people around you, and they'll motivate you in return. And just see where your life is in like 2 years' time. My most successful clients are the people who have like surrounded themselves with like good energy, good people, supportive people, and they're the most successful clients. So surround yourself with good people, enjoy the process. Don't fixate on certain numbers, scales, or, you know, numbers in the gym. Just do it for fun. Do it because you enjoy it. Do it because you want to see a progression in yourself from year to year. And that's all it is. Just stick to it, and you'll be so glad. You'll be so glad that you stuck to it come the end. And that is my words of wisdom for the day. Let's go and eat. So the final meal was prepped. We have here one of the nicest tasting meals. It doesn't look great, but we've got 15 grams of almond butter with 30 grams of jam and 6 plain rice cakes. And here we have 20 grams of whey protein. We have 150 grams of 0% fat yogurt. There's also some sweet cinnamon and a little bit of decaf coffee in there. And it looks heavenly. It looks so good. We've also got another litre of water ready to go in. So I'm going to eat this meal and then start to wind down for the evening. Going to start editing this video, make it all a whole video basically, and that's it. That's a day of eating. It's about 3,500 calories today. Sent some photos over to Aaron from the posing session that I did, and he seems happy. So we're going to have even more food tomorrow which is the day before I travel up on Friday for the show. So traveling up early doors Friday, got my tan, got to check in. But yeah, that is what I do at 4 days out of a bodybuilding show. So super relaxed day, try to keep stress as low as possible all day. Training just very lightly, just to shuttle some carbs around. You'll notice as well that like the carb sources I'm having today are a little bit more like sugary, so having like honey, jam and that sort of thing, just because we don't want to have too much food sitting in my system, because then that can cause bloat and that sort of thing. And also all of this food is all that I've been eating all throughout prep, so we know that it digests well with me, so there's no issues at all in terms of digestion. If you're messing about on peak week with different types of food, with like, I know some people will have like Five Guys burgers and chips the night before, which is fair enough if you want to do it, but then you don't know how that's going to sit with you digestion wise. So this is the plain and simple way. We did this for the first show as well, so we know that it works for me. So if it works, why change it? I know that we're just having a few more calories this time around because my body weight has dropped by 1 kilo. So hopefully I'm going to be a bit more shredded, a bit more conditioned, and hopefully still bring the fullness that I brought the first time round. But yeah, just breezing into the last few days of this, and then you've got another peak week next week as well. So all that's left to do, apart from tomorrow and traveling up there, as they say, is do it. So yeah, have fun, exciting times. I will catch you in a bit.